Good morning. Welcome to Center for Spiritual Living, Cape Coral. My name is Malika Devi. I am a licensed practitioner at Center for Spiritual Living. Today, it is my pleasure and honor to bring you the meditation session. And today's session is focused on blessing. I invite you all to settle into your chair or wherever you are. Find a comfortable place and relax your arms. Open your palms. If you can, please sit up straight. And I invite you to close your eyes if you're comfortable. If not, you can always stare at an object or something further where you can keep your focus. It is not important that we close our eyes. So I'm beginning with our spiritual prayer. It is time to center ourselves to the moment, to the present moment. Bring all our thoughts to this moment, and I call it God's moment. Every moment is God's moment. And it's especially true when we are staying in the spiritual practices and principles. Moment of God's moment. Awareness. Being aware of where we are and our surroundings, what we are surrounded with. And the moment of God's presence is in and through all things, all beings. We know this for sure because we have witnessed it many times. This is to remind myself and remind all of that one presence of God is in and through all things, is the creator of all beings. We take this moment to recognize that God energy, acknowledge and be grateful that it decided to experience life as each and every one of us. What does it mean? We're all God's individual expression. We all do and have God ingredients in each and every one of us. No one is excluded. Everything is included. We are united. It is hard to understand, sometimes hard to comprehend. In this physical experience, even the current situation and conditions that we are in is God expressing itself as what we see and what we are experiencing. When we know that is true, we know it is all for the greater good. It is all for our highest and best. It is all for us to let go of the past and move into the new future. new life, a new norm. And the past, we bless it. The past, yesterday, we're grateful for it. Because without that journey, we would not be here today. Past brought us to this moment, to this point. So always be grateful. It is not a place for us to be having a party. It is a place we say thank you, thank you, thank you. And move our consciousness to the present moment. And bless all that we have. Today, I am so grateful to bless a delicious cup of coffee I had this morning. As I was preparing my coffee, a great gratitude poured upon me to recognize the process of coffee, recognize the farmer who planted the seed, coffee seed, the people who harvested the seed, the machine and the process roasted my seed, my coffee seeds, and the store, it was packaged and delivered to the store, and the store advertised for me to know it was available for me to purchase. And the store people were happy that I came and purchased the coffee. And this morning, as I opened my coffee maker, and the awareness of the person who invented the coffee maker for me to enjoy, make it easy for me to prepare my coffee. As I opened the faucet for my water for my coffee, I was so grateful for all those who worked together to funnel that water from wherever it came from to my kitchen. So the overwhelming gratitude poured upon me as I was smelling my delicious coffee and enjoying the taste, including the creamer and the sugar that I use in my coffee. So we must remember this moment. And I intend to stay in that gratitude for the next few minutes for all those who came together as one. For me to have that delicious cup of coffee this morning. I recognize some of you may not drink coffee as you were listening to me today. Whatever the beverage of your choice, it might be a cup of hot tea. It might be just a glass of water. It may be a glass of orange juice or a tomato juice or a cranberry juice or an apple juice. Whatever your choice of beverage this morning, please remember to recognize and know that many hands came together to prepare that delicious cup of beverage for you to enjoy. It is time to be in the basics of life. The priority of what is important, what is the truth, what is life, what is our calling, what is nudging us to be more. And so let's take these few minutes, be in the silence, grateful for all that you have, and prepare you today for the future. As you sit in the silence, bless every thought that crosses your mind. Say to yourself, I bless you. I bless you. Each thought as it crosses, I bless you. I bless you. As you gently return yourself to the room, I'm so grateful that you all had the time to join me today in this meditation session. I know Sunday celebration will continue, please stay. I also would like to take this moment to say a few words about your meditation practice. Stay in the meditation practice. I know it is a very difficult time for a lot of us. And in one of my family conversation, it popped up recently that my sister was saying it was not easy to quiet her mind. And as she sits down to quiet her mind, it is very, very difficult to stay focused. So one of our cousins reminded all of us, and it was a beautiful way of expressing, meditation is not all about sitting someplace and closing your eyes. Meditation comes in many ways. My sister is a beautiful, beautiful being. She enjoys cooking, she enjoys gardening, and she enjoys lots of other activities. But mostly that she is a really excellent cook, and she grows everything in her garden, and she spends hours and hours and hours. So when we are in an activity, gardening can be meditative gardening, meditative cooking, meditative walk. Even when you are in an activity, it can be a meditative process. And what does that mean is you be present in that. As she cuts each and every pieces of the vegetable, she can be present and know that the food is delicious, and as it always is, and the people are enjoying her meal. As we cultivate the ground for the gardening, as we take a walk for our physical body's well-being. So every activity we participate, we can truly make that a meditative process. It is also good to quiet our minds in the morning for a few minutes, and it's highly recommended we do it 30 minutes in the morning and 30 minutes in the evening. But some of us may not have that luxury. And if you don't, please do be conscious of whatever activity that you participate. That could be a meditative practice. And some of us use music and other things as a meditative practice. So I encourage you to stay in the practice of spiritual principles and practices, especially the time that we are moving through, where we have more time on our hand, and we are, some of us are surrounded with children in our family and elderly that we're taking care of at this moment. So I'm so grateful and thankful for this time to be with you all, and I wish you a wonderful week. Blessings.
Good morning. Hello there. Happy day and welcome to the Sunday presentation from the Centers for Spiritual Living, Cape Coral. I'm Reverend David Renee Jennings, Associate Minister, and this is Vicki Jennings, our Music Director.
Hi, welcome. We wanted to let you know that wherever you are on your spiritual journey, we're so glad you chose to join us this morning. It's time for our blessing, so let's step into that right now. Welcome to the
Center for Spiritual Living. We know who you truly are. You are the spiritual image and likeness of God. We appreciate you, we love you, and we are grateful for you.
Let us be the first to welcome you this morning to the Center for Spiritual Living presentation from Cape Coral, Florida.
Yes, thank you so much for being with us this morning. Thanks for tuning in. And by the way, tune into our Facebook page every day. We've got fresh content for you, inspiring hope and uplifting messages from our practitioner corps day by day. Stay tuned now for an inspiring and helpful message from Reverend Shell Redfern. Happy day. Thanks so much for being here.
Good morning and happy Sunday, everybody. Hope you're all doing well. Doesn't matter where they come from. Doesn't matter what their name. Doesn't matter what they look like, or if they've been unjustly blamed. Doesn't matter how they're different. Doesn't matter how they pray. The only thing that really matters is that you love them anyway. Love them anyway, each and every day. No matter what they say, love them anyway. Love them anyway, each and every day. No matter what they say, love them anyway. Love them anyway that you can, and you'll discover. Love them anyway that you can, you'll find it's true. There is something deep within that you'll uncover, and that thing within is always loving you. Doesn't matter how they're different. Doesn't matter how they pray. The only thing that really matters is that you love them anyway. Doesn't matter if they're many, or if they're standing all alone. It doesn't matter their advancement, or if their tools are made of stone. It doesn't matter if they're richer. Doesn't matter if they're not. It doesn't matter if their homeland is freezing cold or blazing hot. Love them anyway, each and every day. No matter what they say, love them anyway. Love them anyway, each and every day. No matter what they say, love them anyway. Love them anyway that you can, and you'll discover. Love them anyway that you can, you'll find it's true. There is something deep within that you'll uncover, and that thing within is always loving you. Doesn't matter how they're different. Doesn't matter how they pray. The only thing that really matters is that you love them anyway. The only thing that really matters is that you love them anyway. Have a great day, everybody, and stay safe.
Good morning. I'm John Coriel. I'm one of your licensed Science of Mind spiritual practitioners here at the Center. It's good to have you with us this morning. Our reading for this morning is from the Principles of Healing by H.B. Jeffries. He says, man is governed by God, who is spirit. Man being spirit itself, man is not subject to material conditions, but can rise above them by his knowledge of the divine law of spirit. There is only one substance. One substance is not material, but spiritual, of the spirit. Boldly stated, the entire universe is nothing but God. The challenge of healing lies simply on our knowing the truth, in our realization of the truth. We must become conscious of the fact that God is all, and that there is no other presence or power or substance. He or she who would heal must be he or she who sees nothing to heal. Only God. Let's take that into prayer now, and just knowing right here and right now that that God essence is all there is right here where we are, is what we are. We recognize that as whole, complete, and perfect here and now, that we are that God essence here on this earth plane. We are spirit. And we know this day is a blessed day, a wonderful day, and in the midst of all the commotion, we recognize God as being all there is. It is right here, right now. And in doing so, we recognize the wholeness, the completeness, the perfection of this very moment. This very moment. And we just say, thank you, God, for this very moment. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And as we know that to be so, we can say together, and so it is. So let us now recognize and welcome Reverend Shel Redfern.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Sunday. I'm so happy that you're here. So before we get into this week's topic, I want to go back to last week. Now, if you haven't seen it, we talked about creating new normals about things. You know, a new normal, we were talking about developing some new patterns, some new routines, so that we could feel more grounded in what was going on right now, because our old normal, our old patterns, they were getting a little bit difficult to do in this time, being isolated, being inside, and all that kind of stuff. And so, what about the new normals? What about the new normals? Leland and I were talking today, and I think that there are some things that we're doing now that when all of this is over, I'm actually going to miss, you know? And I'd like us to all attempt to look through this situation through that lens. What is it about this that you're actually going to miss when all of this is over? Leland and I have been eating all 3 meals together. That does not happen in the real world. It doesn't happen often at all. In the morning I get up, go and do yoga. By the time I'm getting back from yoga, he's heading out the door to go to work. This is normal. That's our normal pattern. It's all in the timing. But now that we're in this new normal here, we get to eat breakfast together and lunch together and dinner together, and we've really been enjoying that time of connection. And so my question actually that I've been pondering now is, how can I bring my new normal into my routine life once everything is back up and running, once I am back to work? What is that going to look like so that I can keep some of these good things that have happened? So I'm asking you, as you're cultivating your new normal, as you're cultivating new habits, new patterns, and so on, like we were talking about last week, what is it that's actually working right now? Entertain that question. What is it that's actually working right now? Working in your life, working in your world, working in your relationships, because there are things there that are actually working well. So I invite you to think about that and cultivate that. Now, topic for this week. This week was entitled Beautiful Beginnings, and it was entitled that a year ago by Home Office. But here's the great parts to me. This is how Spirit works, right? I have been reading to you from the Book of Awakenings from Mark Nepo. Guess what? That's one of the books of the month for this month. The other book of the month is called, I'm going to have to look here, Broken Open, How Difficult Times Can Help Us Grow. And that's by Elizabeth Lesser. It's a fabulous book. It's a fabulous book. Now, notice Broken Open, How Troubling Times Can Help Us Grow. Tell me that's not just perfect for what we're going through right now. And so our opportunity is to break open to a greater way of being, to break open to a new sense of self, to break open to what's seeking to emerge by means of us. And it's using what's going on right now as a pathway for our greater yet be, our sense of expansion, our expansion to happen. So how is that going on for us? I loved in this book that Elizabeth referred to life as a forest. And she said that we're dropped into this life, and it's like being dropped into a forest. We don't know our way in. We don't know our way out. We're just kind of navigating through this forest, not knowing where we are at any particular time. That is what life is. I kind of really like that analogy. And Katie and I actually, when we used to use hypnotherapy in conjunction with these teachings, Katie had a beautiful way of describing the way that the human brain works. And she described it like this. She said it's a forest, and there are well-worn pathways in that forest. Now, these are repetitive patterns. These are our go-to responses. They are well-worn pathways in our brain, okay? Neurological pathways, actually, in our brain. And so when we try to cultivate a new habit, a new pattern, a new way of being, it's like veering off of that well-worn path that's in the forest there and creating a new one. Now, we've all been hiking in the woods or somewhere where there aren't any paths, and it's really difficult. You can be on slopes, and they could be hard to climb. It could be that there are sticks and branches and rocks, you know, there are just things that are in the way. And we have to clear the path a little bit. Well, so it is with creating new habit patterns. You have to clear the path a little bit. Now, if the forest gets dark, what pathway are you going to go on? Are you going to go on the well-worn pathway? Or are you going to go on the one that you're trying to cultivate? Well, most of the time, you're going to go on that well-worn pathway because it's known. And that's how habit patterns get dropped. Because in the darkness, in other words, where there's a shift, where there's a change, where there's, well, like what's going on right now. Maybe you had some really great habit patterns before this started, and they've kind of fallen away as we've been navigating this change in our world. Maybe this is the opportunity to revisit and recultivate and re-clear those paths in our forests. I think we're being invited to do that right now. That we do have a little bit of time, we do have a little bit of energy that maybe we didn't have before, and we're being invited to clear some new pathways in our forest. So I really, really, really enjoyed that analogy that she made. Her point in making this analogy, though, was that we become stronger as we navigate the forest. That ours is to navigate the forest. So what is the forest? The forest is crises that happen in our life. Things happen. Things happen in life. You know, we're not in a static state. Well, we can be, and you can choose to do that. We know people like this, right? We know people that when something difficult happens, they just freeze. They don't grow, they don't expand, they maybe get more angry, they maybe get more bitter, they maybe create a bigger wall between them and the rest of the world so that they don't have to feel anymore. We know people like that, right? But not us, not us. We choose to create new pathways through this forest, and in so, we become stronger. And not only do we become stronger, but we become more aware of what our purpose is in life. We expand, we open up to more spirit, we open up to more good. And anybody that's been through a dark night of the soul can tell you that on the other side of that dark night is an experience they wouldn't give up for anything. Anything. And I know that many of you have been through those experiences. Now, what we're going through right now could be a dark night of the soul for many of us. There's a lot of loss going on. I'm not going to pretend there's not. But there's also something seeking to emerge. You know, this is happening globally. I keep entertaining this. This is happening globally. It's happening to every nation in this world. What is seeking to emerge? Why is the world suddenly slowing down? Why is humanity slowing down for a while? I'm thinking that there might have to be, or what's seeking to happen, is a shift in collective consciousness. I'm curious as to what that shift is, what it's about, what it's around. But I do know that it's for us. I know that everything that's happening here is for us. So I'm going to check my notes here for just a sec. Excuse me. How do we stay awake during difficult times? What a good question, right? So we can go to sleep, we can become angry, we can become bitter, or we can stay awake. Well, you can stay awake in difficult times by doing exactly what you're doing right now. You're hanging out with other people that are wanting to wake up, that are wanting not to shift things under the rug, that are wanting to move through this. I would highly suggest that if you are feeling struggle, please, please, please send us a prayer request. You can do that on the website, and or directly following this recording, we will be in the Zoom room. That was so great last week. We went into our Zoom room and we had prayer time with each other, and it worked out extremely, extremely well. So I invite you to join us for that. So get support. Get support. We are here to support you. We are here to support you. So from the notes from home office, the title Bright Beginnings had to do with what I was just talking about, like the cultivating of something good, the falling away of what no longer serves. That's a bright beginning. It's springtime now. Spring is coming into being. We've got the buds turning into flowers, and so that's a falling away. We have to let the outer shell fall away that the flower might bloom. That whole idea of spring. It's also Passover time. And so I did a little bit of exploring about Passover. I didn't know a lot about it. I've been to Seder dinners. They're really very cool. There's the reading of the Exodus during the Seder dinner. We eat certain things at certain times, and it commemorates what happens to the Jews at a very dark time in their history. And I always pondered, why would you celebrate this coming apart, your people being killed, your people being thrown out of Egypt, all of that? Why would that be celebrated and remembered? And as I was doing research, I found something that I found really, really interesting, and so I'm going to share it with you. And the idea is, the key isn't only to tell the story of the Exodus, or even to compare your life to the story of Exodus, but to actually personalize the history, to feel the feelings and experience the sensations of this journey. And in doing this, the Jewish people as individuals and as a people move forward. So this is the idea of Passover, that by re-experiencing what their ancestors went through, I think that what's happening is they're cultivating gratitude. Wow, look at what all these people experienced. Wow, look at how our life is today. And so they're remembering what all happened, and I think it's cultivating a huge sense of gratitude in them as a people. And in that way, they keep furthering the Jewish people further and further and further. What an interesting thought. I had no idea that the whole idea was to further the people. But that's really what's behind it all. That's why they celebrate Passover. So then I was thinking about our kids. So not our kids, like the next generation under me, like my nieces and nephews, but my nieces and nephews' kids. What we're going through right now is going to be in their history books. And they're going to come to us and say, Mom and Dad, or Aunt Shell, what was that like? What was that like to go through that? What was that like to watch that happen? What was that like? So I'm curious what stories we're going to bring forward when all of this is over. What is the stories? What are the stories that we're going to tell our children and our grandchildren and our great-grandchildren when they say, you remember when that coronavirus happened in 2020? Do you remember that? Yeah, I remember that. What do you remember about that? What is the story? Right? What story are you telling yourself about the coronavirus now? What story are you telling yourself about what's going on right now. And how can we be like those that are celebrating Passover and create relationship with what's going on right now so that it just moves humanity further, that it creates new pathways through our forests, that those well-worn ones can be grown over now. We've cultivated a new way. What is that new way that's seeking to emerge by means of this? I'm curious. I'm very curious. So I know the question on everybody's mind, as always, is what would Ernest Holmes say, right? Here's what Ernest Holmes would say. This is taken from 10 Ideas That Make a Difference, and it's from the chapter that's called Life is a Game. Living really should be without struggle and always with enthusiasm. Man exists that life may operate through him and express itself in him. We should think of the divine presence as infinite joy, beauty, and wisdom, and have gratitude for it. Just an aside, I think that that's what the Jewish people do in celebrating Passover. We should think of the law of good as being infinite in its capacity and willing to create anything that is good. Always desiring good for ourselves and others, we should have no hesitation in accepting the action of the law upon which our desires, always desiring good for others and ourselves, we should have no hesitation in accepting the action of the law upon our desires that they may be fulfilled. The only limit that the law of life has is that it must work through us according to what? Our belief in its action. It can only work through us according to our belief. That's what brings it into action. Life can only give us what we take, and the taking is an act of faith. We may be certain then that if our thoughts are positive and constructive, there shall be a corresponding effect in our experience. For this, we should be profoundly grateful. If our thoughts are affirmative, our life will be affirmative. If we maintain an inward peace, we shall not become confused. If faith dominates our consciousness, we shall not be afraid. If faith dominates our consciousness, we shall not be afraid. If we are kind, we shall never know hate. If we think of life as an eternal springtime, forever blooming anew into self-expression through us, we shall never grow old. Now the question is, how much time do we spend in affirming the good things of life, in recognizing that which is best in ourselves and in others? Which pathway are we on in our forest of life? I am certain we're going to be investigating this more this month. But for now, I invite you to take this into prayer with me. So settling into the right here, right now, and knowing together there is just one thing going on. It is power, it is presence, it is life, it is light, it is love, it is peace, it is joy. It is all we know as this manifest world and all things unseen. What I know for sure is it is seeking further freer expression. It is using these circumstances, it is using each and every one of us to do just that. There is that within us that has never been hurt, harmed, or in any sort of danger. Let us turn there now. Let us know that right here is the peace of God. Let us know that right here is the love of God. Let us know that right here, right where we are, is all the joy in the whole entire universe. It is God, our back. We are safe. We are safe. So knowing that we are always safe, that we are always guided, that we are always in love, we are always of love, let us move forward with confidence, with faith, today and moving forward. All is well. All is well. So I now anchor this with gratitude by saying, and so it is. So be it.
Good morning. Now is your opportunity to give. There are several ways. You can go to the CSL website, cslcapecoral.org, and press the donate button, or you can text your tithe to 239-320-3820, or mail a check to the Center for Spiritual Living Cape Coral, 406 Southeast 24th Avenue, Cape Coral, 33990. I'd like to say a blessing now and speak over your tithe. With appreciation and love, we accept these offerings and gifts. Divine love through us blesses each gift and each giver. We know that all that has been given here circulates to do great works, both within the spiritual CSL community and Cape Coral and the world at large. Standing in gratitude, I release these words, so please join me in saying, and so it is.
Morning again and happy Sunday! There's nothing to heal. There's nothing to fix. We don't need gimmicks. We don't need tricks. It's all there inside, waiting to come out. There's nothing to heal. There's only truth to reveal. That's what I'm talking about. Now I've had my share of emotional pain. Thought that I should see sunshine. All I saw was the rain. But on the other side of my worry and doubt, the sun was shining behind the clouds. That's what I'm talking about. And there's nothing to heal, no, nothing to fix. And you don't need gimmicks, you don't need tricks. It's all there inside, waiting to come out. There's nothing to heal, there's only truth to reveal. That's what I'm talking about. Now when you're looking at your neighbor and you see nothing but sin, just remember he's a mirror. You better look again. Now you may wish it was different, but there's no reason to pout. Cause when you're looking inside, there isn't much you can hide. That's what I'm talking about. And there is nothing to heal, no, nothing to fix. And you don't need gimmicks, you don't need tricks. It's all there inside, waiting to come out. There's nothing to heal, there's only truth to reveal. That's what I'm talking about. Now I've always been looking for my lucky star. I was pretty sure it was out there, just never knew how far. So I waited for sundown, and all the stars came out. And just cause I couldn't see, they were still waiting for me. That's what I'm talking about. And there's nothing to heal, nothing to heal, no, there's nothing to fix. And you don't need gimmicks, no, you don't need tricks. It's all there inside, waiting to come out. There's nothing to heal, there's only truth to reveal. That's what I'm talking about. There's nothing to heal, there's only truth to reveal. That's what I'm talking about. safe, everybody. Thanks.
Hello, everybody. We have gotten so many requests, can't speak anymore, requests to do Standing in the Light. And so today we are going to do Standing in the Light. Now, when we stand in the light, we stand knowing the truth of the situation. So I'm standing in the light for my parents. I know that they are safe, whole, perfect, and complete. I'm standing in the light for my little precious, who is getting better and better and better. And I'm standing in the light for each and every one of you. I know that you are loved, that you are supported in joy, that you are supported in God in all ways. Now I invite you to, down in the comments here, let us know what you're standing in the light for. Take a minute, or you can also go on the website, go to the prayer request, and put, I am standing in the light for, and let us know what that is so that we can stand in the light with you holding that. Let me say a quick prayer over this. So taking all of these requests, all of these affirmations of the truth that is seeking to emerge, I know good and more good is done already. For this I am grateful, and let it be, and so it is. So be it.